imperfections. We've reached level 6. Look at what we've built so far. This is crazy. And it even goes further in these material functions too, like separate from the texture. Since we made that material function, all we have to do is look up. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this and sort priority 0. Make sure things are in order. So if we save this, you can see we have enable surface imperfections at the top, right? So we can turn this on, turn it off. We have our imperfection texture as number 2. We have the rest of our controls. So that's surface imperfections. We've reached level 6. Look at what we've built so far. This is crazy. And it even goes further in these material functions too. Like, you guys are killing it. Leave a comment down below if you guys made it to this point, or if you're just following along. We're on to level 6, adding dirt over top of our albedo. And the best way to get started with that is, once again, a texture. So I'm gonna go back to my surface imperfections and I'm gonna grab, let's say, these footprints, all right? And the best way to kind of get this set up here is, again, with a lerp. I'm gonna hold L, left click, and bring up that lerp, all right? We wanna blend between two different things. We wanna blend our actual texture here that we'd set up, our albedo texture, and we wanna blend between some dirt. And the best way and the easiest way to grab some dirt is to just hold 3 and left click, grab that constant 3 vector, and pipe that color into B. I'm gonna right click this. We're gonna convert it to a parameter, and we'll just grab some brown or something like this as default, all right? And we're gonna mix between these two textures with this surface imperfection. And we can right click this, of course, and let's plug this into a dirt category. So let's grab this, type dirt, same deal here. We'll pop this into dirt. And if we plug this lerp into base color and save, we're gonna get this dirt category, and there'll be some dirt over top of our texture. Now, we want all the same controls in this dirt texture that we had set up for our surface imperfection. So by this point, y'all, let's see if you know the answer. I'm just gonna go for it, and hopefully you guys can match me by the end. Let's do a brightness. All right, got that default value of 1, and we'll plug it into the dirt group. Let's do contrast next. Sweet lerp, right? So since this is new, I'll hit you with this. Hold L, left click. We're going to be blending between a min and max value with our alpha here. With this texture plugged into alpha, that's gonna go into that one. And then we have our min and max. So holding S, left click, dirt max with a default of 1. Max goes into B, min goes into A. Make sure these are in the right group, and let's clean it up. This is gonna be our dirt. And then let's go ahead and make sure our order is all good here. And then of course we wanna be able to toggle the dirt on and off. So we're gonna do that again with a static switch parameter. Enable dirt. Great. This will be grouped in the dirt group. And if it's true, if we are enabling the dirt, we're gonna want to pipe this in, this lerp, the end of our chain, into true. And this will go into the base color. If it's false, if it's just the texture we want and no dirt, we're gonna come out of this, this texture here, our albedo, into false. And by default, it's false. So if we save this, it goes back to normal. And when we enable dirt, the dirt is added on top. And we can change this texture, say for, I have like water spots or something, right? Bunch of water spots. And we can change the contrast of this to bring a bit more of this out. We can get the brightness going. And I think the last thing we got to do is add our position, scale, rotation values to the dirt texture itself. Right click, we want that material function, position, scale, rotation. Get this all lined up like we've done and pipe it into the UVs. Make sure your order is all correct, right? With the sort priority, and that's all good to go. All right, but now that we have this all built out, okay? We have our albedo, we have our dirt, all with the controls. We got specular with toggle switches on all of this stuff, surface imperfections, to all toggleable, all controllable, roughness, normal, position, scale, rotation on everything. What more could you ask for? I'm sure there's a lot. Leave a comment down below what you guys want to add to this. But the next step here is how to use this in all of your future Unreal projects. We don't ever want to have to build this from scratch ever again. We did the work. Let's just do it once, be smart, and use this in all of our projects moving forward. And the easiest way to do that is by making a master material folder, you call it whatever you want, and put all the stuff that we use to make this master material inside of it. That includes the textures, of course, including the surface imperfection and dirt textures, the master material, yeah, as well as an instance if you want it, and the material function. Don't forget that material function. We use that as well to make up our master material. The next thing you'll want to do, the last thing you'll want to do to ensure that we can copy this over without any problems, is to make sure that these textures here are the ones we're using inside of our master material, because we copied them over from another place in our project file, right? So if you notice, I click on this normal map and I click down on this here. here, there's two click any one of the made Unreal Engine folder structure, right? So just make sure this one, which is coming from Punisher's master floor one. Notice I click on this normal map and I click down on this here. There's two floor one normal 4Ks. We want to use the one that we just copied into our standalone master material folder. If you notice the path up top, it's coming from Punisher's master materials / textures. That's the one we want, as opposed to this one, which is coming from somewhere else in our Unreal Engine folder structure, right? So just make sure all of these are coming from the folder that we just made. Everything is self-sufficient. Save it. And if you right click any one of these and we go into show and explorer, it's going to pull up where that's at in our project file folder structure. And if we go a couple folders back, you can see these folders match the one we have in Unreal. This is our content folder structure. This matches this one-to-one. All right, so these are the same. And if we go one more back, we can see this is our entire project file folder structure. You can get to this folder by going to the Epic Games launcher, right-clicking your project, and show in folder. It's going to pull up the same path. And what you'll want to do to copy that master material over to other projects, let's say this is a new project, this is some other project, we want to go to that content browser, we want to find our Punisher's master materials folder and drop it into the content folder of any future project, and then you're set. You don't have to do this every time you start a new project. We got it right here. Boom, just drag and drop.
Não assina o ChatGPT 4 ainda, porque eu estou disposto a dar ele de graça para você. Isso porque em parceria com a
All right, look, now this video is super long, I know, but it wouldn't be complete if I didn't show you how to use what we just made. Let's do what we do best. Let's make some art. So I'm gonna show you how to make this smudgy, rough metal. I'm gonna show you how I'm getting these water spots up on top here. I'll show you how to do a little chrome ball, and I'll show you how to drop some textures in. And we'll start with this smudged, rough metal. So I'm just gonna go ahead and like wipe it. This is default what we set up as our master material in the beginning. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up, and on the right we have our stuff. So let's go down one by one and kind of reset things to how we want it. Position, scale, rotation, we don't need to worry about that right now. The albedo, we don't want to use the texture. We want to enable the base color, and I'm going to give it like, I don't know, just some dark metal. We'll come back to that and bring it in as we need it. It's not metallic, though you could check that. Specular, yes, we want to enable the base specular. All right, base specular set to 1 is good. We also want to enable base roughness. We're not using any texture maps for this. Base roughness, cool. The normal map, we don't want to use it. So I'm gonna set that to 0. And I believe that's everything for now. Let's get this metal looking kind of similar to the metal here on the teapot. So first thing is I'm gonna bring the brightness down, and let's go ahead and bring our roughness to like 0.4. That should give us a nice look there. Now the surface imperfection, that's where this comes in, right? So I'm gonna toggle the surface imperfection, and we have it set to these smudges. Now the first thing is I want to see something. I want to make this really drastic. So the first thing, the blend, I'm gonna make sure the blend is set to 0 in this case. That's full surface imperfection. It's not using any of the base roughness. And then I want to increase the contrast and the brightness until I start seeing something. Another thing that is going to stop us from seeing it is the scale, right? I dropped the contrast down to 0.5 and we're seeing something, but it's too big. So let's go ahead and adjust our scale until, yes, we have something now. And let's offset it until we find like a bit that looks nice. We just want to kind of reduce the intensity of this. So let's go ahead and check imperfection min and max and make it a little bit more subtle. I'll take the max to like 0.6, the min to 0.4, and we can take that brightness back down to 0.5, and there you go. It's super subtle. Take it back to our wide. You don't need to go really intense with it. Now for this top here with the water spots, let's build that out. The way I'm gonna do that, I'll duplicate the material we just made for the actual base of this teapot, apply it here, and you'll notice it's very different. It's not what we want. Let's double click it, and we're gonna turn off the surface imperfection. We're gonna turn on the dirt. Already you can see we have nice little boot prints on top. They're brown, but we want to change both of those things. We want to change the actual texture map we're using to this water spots texture I have, and we also want to change the color to white. It's that hard water. It's that California hard water. It builds up. It's elusive. The next thing we will want to tweak is probably the scaling. So let's go ahead and make it a little bit larger. That feels right to me. And it's just really intense. All right. So we can do a couple things. We can take the brightness down to 0.1. We can take the contrast up, right? So it's just showing the highlights, and we can take the max maybe down to 0.5, and that's pretty much it. Really subtle. Let me just show you how I'm doing this little chrome material down here. So we'll start from scratch. We'll drop our instance on there. Let's open it up and go down that list again. Scaling, we don't got to worry about. Albedo, we want base color, and we want that to be white. All right, we want it to be reflective white. Metallic, yes, chrome is metal. Let's take it up to 1. Already we're getting close. Specular, let's enable base specular of 1, exactly. The roughness is what's given us this little look here, as well as the normal. So we want to enable base roughness and set it to 0, okay? And we're really close. The last thing we have to do is just get rid of that normal intensity, and that is our chrome. We can do the same thing for this brushed chrome ring around the teapot, and just give it a little bit of roughness, like 0.2 or something, and you can kind of see how we get that brushed metal look. So easy as that, y'all. Super simple. And all of these objects on the right here are photo scans. I'll put them up on my Patreon for you guys if you want to grab them, but they're just made from a diffuse material and a normal map. So I'm just going in, swapping out these two textures, giving it a base roughness, a base specular, tweaking those nice, and that's all there is to it. You can do so much more with this. You can upgrade this material, and for those of y'all who didn't build out the master material with me, it's okay. I got it for sale. I'm running 50% off this week only. It'll support